Today I'll be ranking the top 10 coasters I want to see happen and explaining to you guys why I think these should either become a reality or be produced more often.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hey guys, and welcome to 808 Coaster Life. If you're new to this channel and you love roller coasters and other theme park related stuff, please consider subscribing for quality coaster entertainment every 1 to 2 weeks. As a coaster enthusiast, we get excited when there's a new coaster announced, but eventually, especially since some models are produced a lot, we may not have the same hype as when the first coaster of its kind came out. That's why in this video, I'll rank the 10 coaster concepts I would like to see more of or become a reality. Number 10. RMC Predator. Out of all of the Woodies I want to get RMC'd the most, this would be number 1, and I'm sure a decent number of you guys will agree with that. Compared to other coasters with RMC potential, this coaster seems like a much more realistic option for an RMC treatment. It's a Din double out and back Woody that's pretty boring and rough. They can make it a combination of Storm Chaser and Wicked Cyclone, and maybe even feature a barrel roll drop. I can predict that it'll probably use RMC's legacy trains, which are found on most RMCs, because Six Flags doesn't have an RMC that uses the steering axle trains yet. Six Flags Darien Lake will have a very good top 3, attracting people from New York. I think an RMC of Predator would really benefit Six Flags Darien Lake overall. You guys might have saw this coming since I already made a concept of it, but at number 9 I have the Premier Rides Extended Skyrocket 2. The regular Skyrocket 2 became a popular model for parks big and small to invest in a compact, unique-looking triple launch coaster. I really like this concept because it can provide airtime, hang time, and strong positives, and it can stand out from any other coaster at the park design-wise. However, the ride is not very long and isn't the best at capacity. Most Skyrocket 2s run one train containing 2 to 3 cars, with the exception of Zombie Ride at Bosque Mágico. But I think that an extended Skyrocket 2 would fix up most of the cons with the regular Skyrocket 2, while also showing more of what Premier can do with their layouts. This could be a good fit at SeaWorld San Antonio, Six Flags Darien Lake, Six Flags Great Adventure, and Worlds of Fun. The only thing I could see being lost with this is the swing launch aspect, since it has to be a complete circuit, but I would rather sacrifice that for a longer layout. Of course, it doesn't have to be the exact same design I made, but if they can make a Skyrocket 2 that does more after the non-inverting loop, I would be very excited for that if it happens. Number 8. A large-scale modern SNS air launch coaster. Design-wise, this model changed a lot since its first installation, Hypersonic XLC, in 2001. 18 years later, SNS debuted Max Force, which managed to pack 5 inversions in only about 22 seconds of prime ride time due to certain limitations. But Max Force featured creative elements, which makes me really want to see a longer air launch coaster, so that we can see the full potential of this coaster model. The launch coaster market is very competitive between SNS, Intamin, Mach, Premier, Vekoma, and Gerstlauer, but the SNS air launch coaster would be a great option if parks want to ride with a very forceful launch. This may become a reality as a park in China called Window of the World is building an SNS air launch coaster designed by Joe Draves, which is the same designer of Max Force, and, according to RCDB, will feature 10 elements including inversions. I don't know when this coaster will open as it was delayed from 2019, but I hope this one soon becomes a reality. Number 7. Another Gerstlauer Infinity Dive Coaster. Right now, the dive coaster market is dominated by B&M, but with the recent introductions of Hang Time and I guess TMNT Shellraiser, Gerstlauer has proven that they can create great dive coasters. People complain about B&M dive coasters lacking intensity and being mostly one-trick ponies. They also complain about how the vest restraints on newer installations ruin the airtime found on the drops. Gerstlauer dive coasters have lap bars, and the layouts are better than even the best B&M dive coasters. I don't have the numbers, but I know Hang Time was a success for Knott's Berry Farm because it's crowd-pleasing. And as an extra bonus, Infinity coasters can have great light packages. Some parks that could use a Gerstlauer dive coaster could be Kings Island, Kings Dominion, Worlds of Fun, and Dorney Park, since Cedar Fair has worked with Gerstlauer before to create Hang Time, but I doubt the smaller parks will get it anytime soon. This pick may be biased since I was very impressed by Hang Time, but I really want to see more Gerstlauer dive coasters, although it's not very likely because you can do many other things with the Infinity coaster. Number 6. A new world's tallest coaster. The current world's tallest coaster is King Dakar at Six Flags Great Adventure, which opened back in 2005. 15 years ago as of now, and the record has not been broken since then. There's probably a lot of reasons why the record hasn't been broken yet, but I think the biggest reason is that roller coasters are getting very expensive. But if someone has the courage to do it, One option would be the polar coaster style, where there's roller coaster track wrapping around a building. One was supposed to be built, but that never happened yet. Another possibility would be the strata coaster style, where you launch, go up a really tall top hat, back down, maybe do a little more, and then brakes. Intamin stopped making the hydraulic launch, so if a park wants a strata style coaster, they would either have to go with an S&S air launch coaster or an Intamin LSM launch coaster. LSMs are not as powerful as hydraulic launches, so in order to break the height record, that launch section would have to be really long. Then there's also the traditional lift hill. Some people wanted B&M to make a strata coaster, but I don't think that will happen because B&Ms are already very expensive. We all want to see a new world's tallest coaster, but the industry has evolved since the Coaster Wars, and present-day roller coasters focus more on providing great ride experiences instead of being the tallest and the fastest, and that's why this only lands at number 6. Number 5, the GCI Infinity Flyer. If we go back to 2017, the two innovative wooden coaster manufacturers are Gravity Group and RMC. Gravity Group made multiple small wooden coasters that managed to pack a decent punch, including the legendary Oscar's Wacky Taxi. They made the world's first wooden boomerang, and they put inversions on some of their woodies. RMC has been creating unique elements on wooden coasters as well as creating a very intimidating see-through steel structure. GCI at the time was the go-to manufacturer for traditional wooden coasters, but that soon changed in 2018 when GCI introduced the Infinity Flyer. This train is able to turn at half the turning radius of the Millennium Flyer, and it's able to go as low as -1 Gs, while the Millennium Flyer maxes out at 0 Gs, or should I say mins out, cause minimum. When I first saw these trains, I noticed how similar the restraints are to the classic Intamin T-Bar, so hopefully they'll be as good as those. This train, along with a new all-steel track, is also able to do inversions, steeper drops, and even launches. Parks now have a third option to consider when wanting to buy a modern wooden coaster. The most likely park to get this would probably be a random park in China. While there isn't as much wooden coasters being built now, there's a lot of competition between GCI, Gravity Group, and RMC, so I think if a park wants to buy one, GCI should have something unique about their Infinity Flyer model that will make them differ from the competition, and I think that unique aspect could be a reliable launch system. It'll be very interesting to see what GCI will do next. Number 4, Fury V2. In 2015, Carowinds was blessed with one of the most well-known coasters in the world. Fury 325 won the Golden Ticket Awards every year since 2016. But what if there was another Fury-style Giga? It could be the tallest coaster with a lift hill, and it could improve on the already great Fury 325. The main reason why a lot of people were a little let down when Orion was announced was because they were expecting Fury V2, but instead got a Giga different from both Fury and Leviathan. To be frank, I can't think of any park that's likely to get a possible bigger and better version of Fury 325 because of how expensive B&M coasters are, but a park might surprise us. For now, Fury 325 looks to be the star of the show when it comes to B&M Gigas, but maybe Orion could surprise us. Number 3, another Mach Hypercoaster. As of now, there are only 3 Mach Hypers in the world. 2 are clones of each other, and one of these clones are SB&O. Right now, the 2 most popular manufacturers for hypercoasters make very different rides. B&M Hypers are smooth, graceful, comfortable, and focus more on giant floater airtime hills. Intamin mega coasters are very intense, whippy, sometimes rattly and uncomfortable, and focus more on ejector airtime hills. B&M Hypers are great crowd pleasers, but Intamin mega coasters can be some of the best coasters in the world. I think of Mach Hypers as a blend between those contrasting rides because it won't be overly intense like an Intamin, which will make it a little more liked by the general public, but it also mimics the style of an Intamin mega coaster. DC Rivals Hypercoaster is known to be one of the best coasters in the world because of these traits. Wouldn't it be cool to see another hyper like DC Rivals? As an extra bonus, Mach Rides is willing to integrate inversions into the layout if a park desires. Like the B&M Giga, the main reason parks aren't buying these as much is because Mach Hypers are very expensive. DC Rivals Hypercoaster costed close to $21 million US. If Cedar Fair wants to invest around that much, I could see CGA getting a Mach Hyper since Cedar Fair works with Mach Rides. And of course parks in China could jump on the Flash bandwagon and build their own, even though it's probably going to be another Flash clone. Because of it being a blend between Intamin and B&M, I think more of these should be built. Ordering the last 2 was very difficult because I really want to see both, but at number 2 is a coaster that I hope soon becomes a reality. It is the S&S Axis coaster. In IAAPA 2019, this concept gained a lot of popularity because of how unique it is. It's different from any other coaster in the world. According to SNS, the possibilities are endless with this ride. You can do maneuvers that you can't do on any other coaster. They said that it could have a lift hill, LSM launch, or even an air launch if a park desires. I like how it spins freely, but at the same time it's also controlled, so it won't be as crazy as a free spin. I can imagine that you'll experience some weird forces, and even the lift hill looks so cool. Because it's a brand new coaster type, it can be a great fit at almost any park. I don't know how expensive it is, but since it's SNS, I'm assuming that it's pretty cheap. Overall, I really want parks to buy these because they offer such a unique experience. And finally at number 1, I really want to see more new generation Vekoma coasters. I think most of us know by now that Vekoma really innovated a lot in the past few years. But just to sum it up, Vekoma's new rides are now smooth, comfortable, exciting, and some can be very intense. I can tell that they're really trying to revamp their whole portfolio, starting with the sit-down thrill coasters, then suspended thrill coasters, and the next generation flying coasters, and more. I can see American parks like Knoebels, Kentucky Kingdom, Holiday World, and other smaller parks benefiting from either a sit-down thrill coaster or an STC. Vekoma rides are much cheaper than that of B&M, which will appeal more to smaller parks. I also really want to see more of Vekoma's potential. Some of their most recent layouts feature very unique elements that aren't seen on too many coasters. For a cheap price, you can get a really great ride that rides good and looks very good, and that's why more new generation Vekoma coasters land at number 1 on this list. I have listed mine, but I want to know, what coaster concepts do you want to see happen? Also, would you like me to do a part 2? Let me know all of that down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by leaving a like on this video. And if you're new to this channel and you love roller coasters and other theme park related stuff, please consider subscribing for quality coaster entertainment every 1 to 2 weeks. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.